Hello, everyone. Today, I will be recapping a movie made in 2012 titled John Carter. In the bustling streets of New York City in 1881, one man is desperately trying to escape another person's pursuit. He seems worried and seeks refuge in a building. Once inside, he pays extra to send an urgent telegram. The recipient of this telegram is a young man, and the message implores him to come quickly and rescue his uncle. This young man embarks on a journey to his uncle's grand estate, where a lawyer informs him that his uncle, John Carter, has unexpectedly passed away. To the young man's surprise, he learns that his uncle has bequeathed his entire estate to him. As he processes this astonishing news, the lawyer hands him an old diary. Once the lawyer departs, the young man starts reading the diary. The tale unfolds in Arizona post-Civil War. The protagonist is a decorated former Confederate Army captain searching for gold. He faces hostility from the locals, and Colonel Powell of the cavalry attempts to conscript him for an Apache conflict. Carter declines, and after several unsuccessful escape efforts, he outsmarts a guard, rendering him unconscious, and flees Fort Grant on Colonel Powell's horse. Powell and the cavalry pursue him, but are forced to stop when they spot Carter joining a mounted Apache war group. A gunfight soon erupts. However, Colonel Powell gets shot, compelling Carter to return and rescue the wounded man. Leaving Powell in the cave's entrance, Carter explores further. He finds a chamber with strange markings and gold-covered walls and roof. While mesmerized, he misses a bald man in a shiny robe appearing behind him. The man is part of a group called Tharks, who are an ancient and enigmatic group of beings. A scuffle ensues, during which Carter shoots the bald stranger. Confused by what just happened, he notices that man is holding on to a blue glowing medallion. Upon picking it up, Carter recites the words he heard the stranger utter, and suddenly finds himself in a strange desert. Carter attempts to walk but stumbles, appearing to almost float. He spends several minutes adjusting to the unfamiliar gravity of this new environment. He eventually makes his way to a nearby hill, where he discovers a nest of hatching green, six-limbed infants. This sight disturbs him, and he contemplates leaving when he spots a group of green creatures approaching. They open fire upon seeing Carter, until one of them commands them to stop. The tall green alien introduces himself as Tharks, the leader or Jeddak of his tribe. Tharks realizes that Carter is not from their world and asks him to demonstrate his ability to jump again. Carter seizes the opportunity to leap toward Tharks' weapons, but before he can engage in a fight, he is overpowered. At the royal palace of Helium, Deja Thoris is rehearsing a speech. Her father, Tardos Mors, the Jeddak of Helium, enters, engaged in an argument with his advisors. Deja presents a device that generates a faint blue ray, which she calls the ninth ray. She believes this ray is the source of Zodanga's newfound power. While the advisors discuss its potential, one of them, a disguised Thurn, secretly sabotages the device, causing it to malfunction. Tardos recognizes the importance of this power, but acknowledges they lack time to explore it further, and informs Deja that she must marry Sab than to end the conflict. Meanwhile, Tharks escorts Carter to their residence, within the remnants of an ancient city. There, Carter is entrusted to Solar, who places him in a pit alongside other infants and administers a mysterious liquid into his mouth. Following this, he gains the ability to converse and comprehend the native language. On the following day, the Tharks ordered John to perform a high jump in front of the entire tribe. John realized that the medallion he needed to return home was in Tharks' possession. Suddenly, two battleships, one from Helium and one from Zodanga, appeared in the sky, engaged in a fierce battle. This war served as entertainment for the Tharks, who eagerly placed bets on the outcome. Amidst the chaos of the battle, Princess Deja was fighting aboard one of the ships, but struggled to control it and ended up falling. Using his newfound jumping abilities, John heroically saved the princess. The Tharks erupted in cheers, joined forces against Zodanga's soldiers. Together, they managed to turn the tide of the battle, securing a victory for Helium. With Deja and John now among the Tharks, Tharks was deeply impressed by John's exceptional abilities and appointed him as his right-hand man. Later that night, Deja and John engaged in a conversation during which Deja disclosed that they were on Mars, known as Barsoom in their language. This revelation surprised John, who was initially skeptical due to his physical differences, such as thicker bone density and the planet's low gravity compared to Earth. Deja then led him to the Tharks temple, a place strictly off-limits to humans, in the hopes of finding answers about interworld travel. Meanwhile, Solar, a compassionate female Thark, followed them, pleading for caution. Deja deciphers some ancient inscriptions, but their exploration is abruptly halted when the Tharks apprehend them for trespassing into the temple. Tharks intervenes to secure their escape, putting himself in significant jeopardy. Thark tells John to play along as he does not want to kill them. He then sets him free and returns John's medallion. He tells Solar, Carter, and Deja Thoris to head to the Is River to uncover temple secrets with the medallion. Along the way, Solar warns Carter that Deja might have tricked them. When confronted, Deja admits they were originally going to Helium, which upsets Carter. He considers leaving her, thinking she used him as a weapon. Despite Deja's pleas, Carter insists on going to Is first. The river is a path for pilgrims looking to end their lives and reach paradise, especially those burdened by sin or old age. Carter and Deja Thoris step inside, where they see illuminated blue diagrams depicting the solar system. Dejah Thoris recognizes that the blue light isn't mystical, it's the ninth ray, but created by machines. Outside, a big Thark army led by Matai Shang approaches. As the Thark army gets closer, Carter tells the others to escape. He stays behind to fight the Tharks, with only Woola to help him. But the fight ends when a Helium battlecruiser arrives. Tardos, Morse and Sab then get off the cruiser. Sab then offers his sword to Dejah Thoris and asks her to marry him. Dejah Thoris considers killing him, but decides to have them take the wounded Carter to Zodanga for help. Carter wakes up in a room guarded by soldiers. Dejah, the princess of Helium, secretly summons John to her chamber in the palace. She asks John to return to his home on Earth, using the medallion. When guards enter her chamber, John disappears, making Dejah believe he returned to Earth. In reality, John hides from the soldiers. After they leave, he tries to leave, but is caught by Matai Shang. John is taken aback by Matai Shang's skill to morph into different people. Meanwhile, the arrangements for Sabthan and Dejah's wedding are in progress. Matai Shang binds John to himself, using a technology driven by the ninth ray, rendering John incapable of controlling his own body. Matai Shang discloses Sabthan's nefarious intentions, which involve assassinating Dejah and seizing control of Helium following the wedding. The Tharks supported Zodanga due to the ease of manipulating Sabthan, but Matai Shang's true goal is to establish dominion over the entire Barsoom using him. Woola intervenes, biting off Matai Shang's wrist device and liberating John. John hurriedly boards a flying craft with the intent to prevent Dejah from marrying Sabthan, but the craft crashes close to the Tharks' domain, where they take him captive. The new ruler of the Tharks puts John into the fighting pits, where he fights off gigantic white apes. John triumphs over the formidable white apes, showcasing his strength in front of the Tharks, which earns their allegiance. He assumes a leadership role and convinces them to aid him in the conflict between Helium and Zodanga. John reaches the wedding ceremony just in time to prevent it from proceeding as planned. Sab then attempts to harm Dejah, but John intervenes, triggering a fierce battle. The Tharks align themselves with Helium, resulting in the defeat of Zodanga. Matai Shang manages to escape with John's medallion. John and Dejah exchange vows in matrimony, and John assumes the title of Prince of Helium. The next day, while standing on a balcony, John and Dejah are taken aback when Matai Shang unexpectedly materializes. A confrontation ensues between John and Matai Shang, who employs the medallion's power to transport John back to Earth. John wakes up in a cave with a long beard, realizing that a lot of time has passed and that he cannot return back to Mars without a medallion. Knowing that the Tharks are watching him, he orchestrates a plan to protect his earthly body and get his hand on a medallion. He fakes his death and instructs Edgar to safeguard his mausoleum. When Edgar opens the mausoleum using a secret password and finds John inside, John explains that it was all a plan to obtain a Tharks medallion. He asks Edgar to protect the mausoleum and uses the medallion to return to Mars. Thank you for watching MovieRecaps.